The highlight of what it was like, this short clip, where political thugs were attacking voters, and voters are like running and defending, others are like buying, it's all mental.
Buying votes. This is money. That is the money you brought to the field to buy votes, and your name is this thing. You are going to be arrested. Yes, it is coming to pick you. Come with those officers. Come with those officers over there. Come with those officers. You cannot come to the field and be doing this, sir. You cannot come to the. Hey! Hold that boy. Buying votes. This is money.
They don't break somebody's head already. Eh? Poor people, victims of bad governance. They are beating themselves and harming themselves. Last, the politicians who will declare themselves winners, once everything is done and settled, they will begin to pack your commonwealth and take the money out of Edo State. Go and buy themselves nice houses in Lagos or outside Nigeria. Their children will be like, they won't even live in Edo. Baba, I don't understand though. I swear, I know get on. But talking about Wike and his influence, this afternoon, or was it not? It was actually yesterday, was it? Remember Wike and his 27 co-travelers, the lawmakers from River State, fighting Fubara. They got a court judgment where I actually listened to a lawyer that said all this issue of people decamping, it is just the imagination of some people. That with the Wike's men, they did not decamp anywhere, and the court has ruled that they didn't decamp. Therefore, the 27 House of Assembly members of River State, a court has ruled that they did not decamp and nobody can sack them. Ilushi. Watch.
We were in court. We listened to the judge here in the Federal High Court, and the judge was very clear. And all that we heard today is pleasing in our ears. What has happened today is a further confirmation of previous judgments, previous injunctions, and orders of other courts of competent jurisdiction. The most important thing is that our adversaries, those who do not want the rule of law in River State, are hell-bent on taking us out from our seats. But what we have heard today is a confirmation of previous judgment, like I said, and it clearly shows that the office of the Speaker of the River State House of Assembly is not vacant, is not in contention. What has happened today is not new in our ears, because we know that the River State House of Assembly, under my speakership, is the only River State House of Assembly known to law, as we have always said. And what the judge has said today is just a confirmation of what the true position is. A lot has been said about the issue of defection. 27 of us in the State House of Assembly never defected to any other party. We were elected under the platform of the People's Democratic Party, and we never defected. We never took any step to defect to any other party. What you see every time are mere plans by the governor of Rivers State. Everything you have seen is being sponsored by similar Fubara, the governor of Rivers State, to remove us from office because he cannot withstand the rule of law. He does not want to govern under the tenets of our democracy. He cannot withstand the principles of separation of powers. The governor is afraid of democracy, and that is why he is hell-bent on removing all of us. He runs to every court anywhere in this country looking for how to remove us through the back door. What the court has said today, including all that they have tendered as their evidence and all of that, is clear. No such thing as defection. And in any case, we have a right to defect, but we never defected. Anything you have seen is just the arrangement from the governor, being sponsored by the governor of Rivers State. And I say it clearly because he is the one pushing all of them. He is the one sponsoring all these persons, going from one court to the other. But I can tell you, the only way our democracy can be sustained, the only way the dividends of democracy can get to our people is when you have the rule of law in place. When we allow separation of powers to have its way, when you allow the legislature to function, when you disallow the arbitrariness coming from the executive, particularly from the likes of the governor, who do not understand where the boundaries are between the legislature and the executive. So, but we are glad that the courts, the Federal High Court that has the jurisdiction, has once again spoken. This is not the first time. We listened to the judge. The judge made references to previous judgments, previous orders from different courts that the governor of Rivers State has failed to respect. We know he will also not respect these judgments because he has sworn not to respect the Constitution of Nigeria. Similarly, Fubara has sworn not to respect the Constitution. He has sworn not to respect judgments of the Supreme Court, of the Court of Appeal, or the Federal High Court. And because he has sworn not to respect anything, he has decided to govern Rivers State outside every provision of our statutes. But we need to rest assured that for all of us in the Rivers House of Assembly, we will continue to push for our democracy. We will continue to push for our legislature. We will remain undeterred. We will continue to make good laws for our people so that Rivers State can be a better place for all of us who are residents of Rivers State and who come from Rivers State. Thank you very much.
How true is the report that
the court held clearly that the suit filed by them is an abuse of process of court process because His Lordship Honorable Justice Omotosho had in January this year found and held that the House of Assembly led by Right Honorable Martin Amuwule was the authentic House of Assembly in Rivers State, and that Martin Amuwule is the authentic Speaker of the House of Assembly of Rivers State. And the court said he's bound by those judgments of his brother's judges, and he cannot at this time sit on appeal on those judgments. So that is the state of the law. So as far as we are concerned, the court has found that the matter lacks merit. And indeed, the court went further to say that the plaintiffs failed to prove and establish their case. Even the video they are required by law to do. So that is the situation today. As far as the law is concerned, Martin Amuwule and his group are the authentic members of the House of Assembly, and Martin Amuwule remains the Speaker by the judgments of the courts of the land. That's the situation. Thank you very much. Yes, the PDP.
We have always stated this position, that there is no proof of defection anywhere. All that we have been hearing is that on social media, that these people have defected. But you've seen it today. The video evidence, they played a movie for us here. It was a movie. In the movie we saw, in Act 1, Scene 1, we saw somebody. We don't know who he is. Scene 2, we saw so many people. We don't know who they are. Nobody told us who they are. You heard they just said so too. So they just dumped, like my Lene brother said, they dumped everything on the court. I think this has put an end to the political hula baloo in Rivers State. And I think it's good for all of us. Of course, there's no proof of defection. They didn't defect anywhere. That's the position. Thank you. Thank you. And I speak as the authentic lawyer representing PD.
Nigeria is not a real place. Did you see those faces of those lunatics? Nigeria is a place whereby they can call red, black. And if you insist that this is red, they will tell you that you have eye problem. And the rest of them they will continue to say it's black is black. In May this year, on the floor of the Rivers State House of Assembly, this happened. And immediately it happened, they moved themselves in a bus straight to the airport, where they were ferried to Abuja.
Excited lawmakers flying the handy flag of the All Progressive Congress and chanting songs in support of the opposition APC in Rivers State and President Bola Tinubu after defecting from the People's Democratic Party on whose platforms they were elected. Factional Speaker Martins Aneule explains that the defection follows the perceived division in the PDP at the national level.
The Right Honorable Martin Chika Mehule, DSSRS Speaker, Rivers State Assembly, Moscow, Port Mr. Speaker, defection to the All Progressive Congress, APC. Defection to the All Progressive Congress, APC. I write to bring to your attention my decision to leave the People's Democratic Party, PDP. This decision to leave the PDP is necessitated by the division in the People's Democratic Party, of which I was elected to this House. In particular, the tussle around who the National Secretary of the PDP is has now sharply divided the party and made it unclear as to who is the National Secretary of the party.
During Monday's sitting by the faction, the Rivers State Local Government Amendment Bill 2023 passed second reading.
This bill is to amend the principal law. The amendment is quite necessary, Mr. Speaker, at this point in time, considering that the Supreme Court, in its ruling, has criminalized the running of local government by caretaker.
And it is not proper for the resources of the people to be put in the hand of someone that does not even understand the terrain of that LG. Everything that is being allocated to the local government belongs to the local government and should be managed by a democratic elected person from that place.
Distinguished colleagues, the idea is to remove the anomaly inherent in this law. The law has given powers to the governor that the governor does not have. When our people elect councillors, elect chairmen of local governments, it will be improper for a sitting governor, through a fiat, remove these elected individuals.
The lawmakers condemned the alleged refusal of Governor Simina Lare Fubara to hand over to the police.
The said motion is to condemn the refusal of His Excellency Sir Simina Fubara, Governor of Rivers State, to hand over suspects that burned the Harlow Chamber to the law enforcement agencies and seizure of the funds for the management of the Rivers State House of Assembly.
On your mandate, on your mandate, on your mandate, we shall stand. On your mandate.
In fact, it actually happened in December 2023. That was when the supposed conversation around Fubara listening to the last command of Wike, and they won't. So they defected, and the plan was then to impeach him, which now prompted the Fubara's faction to declare their seat vacant And in January, it got to the head that Tinubu called a meeting. Remember that they should heal their sword, and Tinubu said they've run to him. He can't just push them back. They are now members of APC. Then they were told to deny that they decamped. Okay? Just say you didn't decamp. It's not true. Meanwhile, one of them who wrote the letter of all of them decamping to APC, they gave the reasons as the division at the national level of a PDP. That's the reason why they left a PDP for APC. But they did that so hurriedly that they were not properly advised. And that boomeranged. A court in Nigeria just said the people they showed to him in court that they camped from PDP to APC, they are unknown to him. He can't even recognize them. And those are the guys who are in court, Amawule and his gang. So I think that has now prompted Fubara to tell his own loyalists, since they will not be able to actually control the PDP structure anymore. Remember that about 4 days ago, when the Bala Muhammad group, the PDP, supposed PDP Governors Forum, came out and said they have discussed with Damagum. Damagum is the acting chairman of PDP and is Wike's loyalist. One of the reasons why Wike said, who is that person that will suspend him in PDP? Who is that person? So Bala Muhammad and co decided to step Damagum down so that they can appoint another chairman, and then they can go on and punish Wike for all his atrocities. Unfortunately, the supposed PDP Governors Forum, they are not together on that. The first person to pull the rug was a Solomon Kinde of Ibadan. And now, Pintiri of Adamawa, a supposed the godson of Atifku, has joined the Solomon Kinde of Ibadan to say Damagum must stay. Therefore, Wike remains their boss. Some are already saying that the Pintiri betrayed Atifku. That's going to be a story for another day. So as it stands, there is no united front in dealing with Wike, and therefore, Fubara will remain internally displaced politician. He is still in PDP. He has now ordered his own supporters, especially at the local government level, to go and pick up forms of another political party and run on that platform to contest the local government elections. Because right now, Wike has gotten a court order, which has now reinstated these guys that they didn't decamp. They are still member of PDP. One guy that spoke last in that video who said is the lawyer for PDP, is also part of the scheme. All right. So as it stands, Fubara and his gang, they are now the internally displaced politicians in Rivers State. But he's still holding this, the pause of Rivers State, something that Amawule and his gang will kind of dare to take from him now. So they believe that they are the authentic lawmakers now, and therefore they can go ahead and go after Fubara. We'll see how far that goes. But here is the Fubara supposed the lawyer, not Fubara's lawyer, but Fubara's faction's lawyer. He had this to say.
What we intend to do here is to tell the public and then our esteemed members and then the general public that nothing substantially has changed. All of the decisions that have come out from the various high courts, courts of coordinate jurisdiction, I think will be settled until we get to the Supreme Court. But what's fundamental is that the judgment of Peter Lifu today on the Federal High Court is not final, and then has not changed substantially the position of the Rivers State House of Assembly with respect to the leadership of the Rivers State House of Assembly, as far as the APP is concerned. And that's why we're going to court. We hold the view strongly, even until now, that there are vacant positions in the Rivers State House of Assembly, and then those positions need to be filled. And then it's our knowledge that there are 3 members that are left, and then there is a speaker in that regard, in the person of Right Honorable Victor Kojombo. This is our knowledge, and I think it's the public knowledge. What's emphatic to the party is that those vacant positions have to be filled, and as a party, that we have the right to take part in the elections that we are calling INEC to conduct, and that's why we approach the court. But a number of other issues that arose with respect to whether the matter is a pre-action matter, which of course we didn't feel that, but it's the decision of the court to that effect that is a pre-action matter, so that those who are celebrating thinking that we never approached the court properly. The APP was held by the court to have locus, we have a rights, and then the locus to file a suit, meaning the right to file a suit. That was appropriate, and the court agreed with us in that regard. And whether the court in its wisdom felt that was a pre-election matter, and that's how it got to say we probably were out of time. But we've got the judgment. I think we're going to review that, and then we will get that proper review when the enrolled orders are out. We'll be taking the appropriate step that I think we would agree to take. But what's also further fundamental is to state that all of these issues about the University House of Assembly and the leadership of the University House of Assembly and the various decisions that are in court, including Justice Wile's decision that restrained the estranged former members of the University House of Assembly from interfering with the activities and proceedings of the University House of Assembly, is a judgment to the courts. And then that judgment is even on appeal. I think we understand what the Supreme Court is until that appeal is determined. These matters are still very ripe. And then, of course, again, even when they relied on Justice Omotoshio's judgment, and including an interlocutory injunction by Okorowo, those matters are not matters that actually are directly connected or related to the reason that the APP went to court. Because we never approached the court to ask the court to declare any seat vacant. It's our position that as a responsible party, and then having the duty and obligation to uphold the provisions of the Constitution and ensure that every authority and every person in this country defend the Constitution. So we felt that we needed to take the step that we took. And then that step it remains our candid position. So Justice Omotoshio's decision is also important to tell the public that it's on appeal. As a matter of fact, there are even 2 appeals against that decision. So the Court of Appeal is there to determine those appeals. That's the principal appeal, and there's even a cross appeal by those who even appear to take advantage of that decision and then claim that it's in their favor. And then if you also would look at the decision of Peter Lefu today, relying on those 2 previous decisions. These are all courts of coordinated jurisdiction, and I think that we still are within our own rights to consider the decision of the court today and then see what we will do. But what's fundamental here is to emphasize that as far as we are concerned, yes, the judgment of the court, we remain abiding by decisions of court as a responsible political party, and then but it hasn't substantially changed anything, because there are still a number of matters subsisting, even in high courts, with respect to all of these matters, and then at the Court of Appeal and at the Supreme Court. So nobody, and there was even no declaration to a clear position by Justice Peter Lefu to the effect that those who have defected have not ceased to be members of the University House of Assembly. He relied on the judgments of the other judges. But those are judgments that are even subjects that are before the appeals. And then, like I said, if we are to consider all the judgments, including the judgment of Justice Wile, which in itself it remains a valid judgment until it is overturned, and the restraining order that is even made, then I think our position is clear. So, gentlemen of the press, it's important that we join, including the media, to direct these facts in the appropriate ways that they really are, and then dissuade the public from misconstruing and misinterpreting decisions of court, particularly in areas that suits them. So for our members, our esteemed members, we enjoin you, and even the generality of the entirety of Rivers indigenous residents here, there's nothing to worry about. I think that the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, at the end of the day, will become the pointer of all of this. The Constitution is supreme, and it is a ground norm, and every citizen, every authority has a responsibility to ensure that it is being protected, and then it's been upheld, including judges, of course. I've made my points in several interventions that authorities will include the judiciary, will include judges, will include even the presidency, And everybody has a fundamental responsibility to protect the provisions of the Constitution. Even in interpreting provisions of the Constitution, it should be interpreted in a manner that is to protect and uphold the provisions of the Constitution. That has remained the